So I would say I'm making this video as a way to kind of share my heart with you guys, share some of my personal life and what's going on with me, and also to normalize for people that brain retraining is a really wonderful, amazing, powerful tool for healing and transforming your health and your relationship to the world around you and your energy and escaping the endless cycle of symptoms and diagnoses and feeling so oppressed by that heavy energy. But it doesn't mean that it necessarily is healing every single condition, every single symptom of every condition for every single person, right? And I think that's where our community in the general brain retraining space sometimes falls short. And I have done videos discussing this before because I get frustrated when I see people posting on some of these online communities and getting a lot of pushback of, well, if you were just doing it right, if you were just following the program, you wouldn't be having these issues. Every symptom is, a trigger. Every symptom is a trauma response. Every single thing that could ever possibly be wrong with you can be healed with brain retraining and limbic system training. And we know scientifically that just is not true, right? But I think especially as someone who has created a limbic system healing course and community and makes these videos, and most of my work with my clients is in limbic system healing and regulation, I have felt that pressure to be like, well, I maybe should be more healed, or I need to be focused on just my healing and the good things and the positivity at the expense of maybe not digging deeper when I have symptoms or keeping up with my own health because I'm getting so caught up in trying to heal everyone else or take care of my family or working. And I had a wake-up call recently with some lab work that I did get done, and I wasn't even really trying to do the lab work for my own self as much as I was kind of doing something where my daughter had to get the lab work done. We ordered private testing, and I was like, oh, I should just see where my levels are at. And again, this is an example where on one hand, I had been feeling decently well, and so I wasn't actively going back and doing as much of the testing as maybe I would have done in the past, where I was desperately seeking healing and root cause, before brain retraining. But on the other hand, I had noticed some worrying symptoms creeping up, mostly neurological symptoms, creeping up in myself for a while now. And I had been kind of writing them off. So I had been falling victim to that exact kind of toxic positivity that I talk about and saying, no, that might be a intrusive thought that's coming up. That might be a trauma response. I'm not sick. I don't have to worry about that. I am doing this program, and how do I refocus and reframe these thoughts? But it was really interesting to see that a lot of my lab work was kind of troubling. So what I wanted to talk about is the importance of getting accurate testing done, and some testing that I think is really helpful if you're still uncovering root cause. And I wanted to talk about how we can still heal even if we're dealing with stubborn symptoms that are not necessarily going to be healed completely by brain retraining, new diagnoses, and things like that. So I do want to dive in on some notes that I took. I wanted to talk about how in the beginning, just in general, chronic pain or chronic illness are going to be complex, multifaceted issues, and sometimes there's hidden causes that we don't know. So I'll give some examples personally, because today's more of a personal just sit and talk with me video. I have spinal stenosis. I fractured my spine about 7 years ago. I have narrowing of my spine. I have disc issues. The chronic pain that I feel is at times very real pain because I will get triggered. Spinal stenosis, it kind of ebbs and flows depending on your inflammation state. So whereas chronic pain, the definition of chronic pain is almost like your memory of pain and your brain is more involved, not your direct nervous system being involved with like the nerves being compressed all the time, which is that acute pain. I have a little bit of both. So for me, brain retraining drastically brought down my pain levels, or my perception of my pain levels. It helped me be more functional in the world. But no amount of brain retraining and limbic system healing is ever going to magically heal the fact that I have a narrow spinal canal and spinal stenosis. And I think a lot of people out there have the same issue where a portion of their pain is this chronic brain-based, nervous system-based, limbic system-based pain, which can be addressed and drastically reduced with brain retraining. But if they still have pain issues and pain flare-ups, it doesn't mean they're not doing it right. It means that they probably have physical factors that are causing acute pain flare-ups. And it's the same with chronic illness. So I have shared before, and I feel comfortable sharing again, I have Lyme that went undiagnosed for over 20 years. By the time it was diagnosed, I realized I had Lyme, Bartonella, Babesia, Tick-Borne relapsing fever, and extremely high, off-the-charts high Epstein-Barr virus. And it had gone misdiagnosed or undiagnosed for so long that it was chronic. There was really nothing to do from a Western perspective to treat that. And so that had led to a lot of really troubling mystery symptoms. I had been tested for MS multiple times, and they were like, well, you're not showing lesions, you're showing symptoms. Sometimes this is something that, we're going to kind of clinically diagnose it, but we have to wait till we see spots on an MRI and things like that. Like really, really strange things. Lyme finally kind of fit. Even with that diagnosis, though, I found that despite the detoxes and the supplements and the diets and all these things, brain retraining was the first thing that really clicked. And I realized that so many of my symptoms was from my anxiety, was from my trauma that I had from living with a chronic pain and illness state for over 20 years and being not believed by doctors and having all these symptoms, and I didn't know what was wrong with me, and getting pulled in all these directions and being fearful, and having big scary diagnoses thrown around a lot like lupus and MS and things. And so brain retraining took me to a whole new level of vibrance and health and my ability to just function in the world and deal with the pain from my back injury. But I think to some extent I got so caught up in almost like that high of like, oh, I finally feel good, this is awesome. It kind of turned into, oh, well then I don't have to really worry about Lyme anymore. I don't really have to worry about these other things. And I kind of just went in my own way. I was like, I was using brain retraining to heal histamine intolerance. So now I could eat whatever I wanted. No more restrictive diets. I was using brain retraining to recover from some of my chronic pain patterns. So now I could go out and do more things and I wasn't limited by pain. I didn't feel as much brain fog. I felt more vibrant and energized. But I wonder to some extent, I don't think any of that was bad. I think it's great that I was able to go out and do these awesome things because of brain retraining. But now I'm seeing that there still is an importance to looking at underlying conditions and causes. So I wanted to talk a little bit about some testing that I think is helpful. This is in no way sponsored or anything, but I think it's important to discuss that if you're still having lingering symptoms, it is important to get more testing done because there could be things working against you that no amount of brain retraining is going to address. And when you go to a doctor and ask for Lyme testing, for example, they do the Western blot and the ELISA test. Those miss, depending on the source, you can look at, some of the Lyme Association sources and the private lab sources of different data, but the Western blot and the ELISA test, which is what most insurances cover and most doctors order, they don't know other testing exists, they miss between 30 to 60% of both active and chronic Lyme cases. And most of them, they don't test for co-infections. So you're already at a disservice there. When you get tested for Epstein-Barr virus, a lot of times they're just testing if you have active mono. They're not testing to see if you have past infections or chronic infections. So these are things that are easily missed that can be causing a detriment to your health. And if you have stubborn symptoms that won't go away, these are things that can be helpful. If you know that you've had chronic symptoms related to tick-borne illnesses or mold or traumatic brain injuries or Epstein-Barr for a long time, there are different tests you can get. Insurance will usually cover the Cunningham panel test, but Vibrant America Labs has a similar test called the Neural Zoomer that you can order and get done at home. It has very similar brain autoimmunity antibody markers to see if you have long-lasting autoimmunity or inflammation in your brain from having dormant infections or underlying infections. Vibrant America also has a Tick-Borne panel that will test for all of the Lyme and tick co-infections as well as Epstein-Barr. And I believe Igenex has a test that's similar that is going to be a much more deeper dive into this huge array of all of the tick-borne illnesses. And you're going to be getting the IgG and the IgM. So you're going to see if it's a chronic or active infection, whereas Western medicine testing is going to miss virtually all of these things. I have found this helpful in my healing journey for myself and my family, because when you don't know where your symptoms are coming from, brain retraining definitely can still help. I think regardless, brain retraining and regulating your nervous system is going to help everyone feel better regardless of what they're dealing with. It's going to help at least a portion of what you're struggling with. But if you're still left feeling sick or having mystery symptoms, it can be very frustrating. Getting the right testing can give you answers, which can feel very validating and give you new avenues to explore treatment and healing that you might not have had before. And I think that we have to remember that the key to brain retraining lies in balancing and regulating our nervous system and feeling safe. And if we're being proactive and we feel safe, it opens up opportunity to uncover and treat hidden root causes. And we're going to shift from that obsessive focus on symptoms and diagnoses to a state of just curiosity and openness. And we're enabling a calmer way to approach these issues. And so with that clarity, we might have more time and energy and understanding and be in a better state to pursue more comprehensive testing or diagnoses or specialists or things like that. So, especially within my program, like I said, I still think brain retraining is the way to go. I don't think we should over-identify with labels. I think we should have a mindset that shifts away from this constant monitoring of our symptoms. But we don't want to mask underlying issues. We don't want to have this mindset of just shove it down, just repress it, because we know from psychology that's not healthy, right? We can't just dissociate and pretend that things don't exist. They build strength and come out in other ways. And if we leave these things unaddressed, they could progress to more severe health problems over time, which is kind of what I'm dealing with in my own way. And so this journey of brain retraining shouldn't be a way of escaping or ignoring our body's signals, but a tool to gain strength and clarity so that we can address the deeper root causes. And we don't want to simply rely on that initial improvement we see from brain retraining. We want to use that strength like this effect to keep us going. Like we're fueling that fire of giving ourselves the energy to dive deeper and to address things like infections or diet or detox or environmental factors or relationship dynamics with our newfound vitality and health and positivity and our ability to program ourselves to do these things differently to be more sustainable. So the one thing I wanted to touch on too is this idea of neuroinflammation and dormant infections. And I think this relates to our limbic system healing and our brain retraining, because a lot of the structures we constantly talk about with our amygdala and our hippocampus and our cerebellum and our frontal lobe and all of these parts of our brain, if you do something like a neural zoomer test or a Cunningham panel test, you see these antibodies, these autoimmune antibodies that specifically sometimes have created autoimmunity against specific types of brain cells. So if we're not digging deeper and figuring out if our brain has developed issues, if infections have crossed the blood-brain barrier and caused autoimmunity and neuroinflammation, we won't know if all the brain retraining work we're doing is kind of like running into a brick wall over and over and it's not getting through because maybe we have inflammation. And neuroinflammation is, now we know, key in a lot of chronic neurological conditions. And again, Epstein-Barr virus has been linked to the development of MS and Parkinson's and other neuroimmune conditions, and it can reactivate and contribute to long-term issues. Same with Lyme, right? Neurological Lyme, all of these things can cause autoimmune encephalitis, can cause seizures, can cause brain fog, can be linked to the development of dementia later on. So these are all things that are really important that we're not ignoring. Just because we're feeling better doesn't mean we should ignore underlying issues that could be lingering and could cause us issues later. So what I want to emphasize is that we should use the improvements from brain retraining rather than letting that kind of, mask our symptoms and then we just fall back into, oh, I feel great, let me just go back to my unhealthy patterns and ignore my symptoms and just kind of do what I want to do. We should avoid that superficial sense of wellness while underlying stuff is persisting and worsening. And let's look at brain retraining as a foundational step towards comprehensive, holistic, whole body, mind, spirit healing. So let's use the energy and clarity and resilience that we're gaining from our regulated nervous system to explore root cause. Now, how can we do this a little bit differently? So I wanted to talk about different ways that we can address these issues. I want us to have a comprehensive health action plan where we use our providers and functional providers and holistic providers and lab work as a framework to have a holistic healing plan. So we're going to keep up with our brain retraining, keep up with the things that regulate our nervous system, keep up with healthy diet and detox protocols and understanding environmental toxins and our lifestyle, our relationships. We've learned about polyvagal theory in here. How do our relationships either set us up for good health or negative health outcomes? And we want to make sure that we are really understanding how to balance both. We want to maintain our emotional well-being and continue to use the brain retraining to manage our stress and stay regulated, but we want to keep educating ourselves and use the support network we have to keep working on our healing journey. So I wanted to just set some frameworks here. I think that we can, number one, stay consistent with our brain retraining practices, continue with our established routines, daily affirmations and visualizations and exercises, and keep consistent with the progress that you've made. We want to focus on regulation. We want to prioritize those activities and practices that keep us in a parasympathetic state or a social engagement state, deep breathing and yoga and meditation and nature, all the things we talk about. And with social engagement, having the support of friends and family and treatment team structure, our pets, our social regulation and engagement, so that we can activate that ventral vagal complex in our brain, which is associated with safety and connection, and again, that overall nervous system regulation. And I want us to really focus on positive thinking and regulation. So we know that affirmations like I am healing and my body knows how to recover and every day I'm getting stronger can reinforce our positive neural pathways we've worked so hard to create, even if we're having a setback. And I know not everyone likes the woo-woo stuff, but the idea of law of attraction or positive psychology, however you want to see it, from more of a spiritual side or from the words we speak have power and positive psychology. Every religion around the world has some aspect of this, whether it's through prayer or meditation or chanting, that what we put out there has power. We want to focus on visualizing a healthy future and the positive thoughts that we think can attract positive outcomes. So we want to still envision ourselves as healthy and vibrant, even if we're having a setback. So I also wanted to talk a little bit about maybe giving some ideas for some new affirmations or meditations that we can do during this time. So I want us to begin by just centering in, taking some deep breaths, relaxing into our breath and allowing ourselves to just gently inhale and exhale, releasing any tension we're carrying, softening our gaze or closing our eyes. Let's let our body settle into a state of calm. And today I want us to set the intention on cultivating positivity and resilience and healing. And we are going to acknowledge the presence of maybe any new or worsening symptoms and gently remind ourselves that we have the power to navigate this journey with grace and strength. We're going to go through an affirmation cycle here, a series of affirmations that we can repeat silently or aloud or write down to use later, and allow those words to resonate deeply within ourselves. The first is a series of affirmations on healing and wholeness. I am a powerful being of light and healing. My body knows how to heal itself, and I trust its wisdom. Every cell in my body is filled with vibrant health and vitality. And then some phrases on embracing our journey. I accept and embrace this healing journey with love and patience. Every challenge I face brings me closer to understanding and wholeness. I am grateful for the progress I have made and for the strength within me. And for positive mindset, I choose to focus on the positive aspects of my healing. My thoughts are powerful and I choose to think positively. I attract healing and positivity into my life every day. Moving into our limbic system affirmations. My brain is capable of amazing healing and transformation. I am rewiring my brain for health, peace, and resilience. My nervous system is calm, balanced, and aligned with healing. And lastly, focusing on connection and support. I am surrounded by love, support, and healing energy. I connect deeply with my inner strength and the strength of the universe. I am never alone on this journey. I am supported by my community and spirit. Now imagine a warm, healing light surrounding your body. And this light represents your innate healing power and the power and support of the universal energy around you. See this light entering every cell of your body and filling you with warmth and peace and healing energy. And visualize this light focusing on any areas of discomfort or illness and gently dissolving any pain or negative energy or sickness and replacing it with healing and vitality. And as you continue to breathe, let each affirmation and each visualization sink deeper into your consciousness and feel the truth of these words resonating in your mind, body, and spirit. Allow yourself to fully believe in your ability to heal and thrive. And as we end this meditation, one final affirmation. I am whole, I am healing, and I am thriving. I am grateful for my body's ability to heal and for the journey I am on. Let's work on carrying these affirmations with us throughout our day and reminding ourselves of our strength and our resilience. You're capable of really incredible healing, and every step that we take together is going to bring us closer to health and well-being. I hope that by sharing my personal journey today, I normalized for some of you maybe what you're going through and helped you to feel that you're not alone and you are doing a great job and that there is no perfect way to do anything in life. And that brain retraining and limbic system regulation are amazing, incredible, powerful tools that we have to live our very best life, but that we never have a perfect circumstance. We are always going to have challenges, and it's about how we approach those challenges that matters the most. So thank you for sitting with me. I know it was a longer video today, and I shared a lot, and it's more of my journey. I hope that it was helpful to you as well. And I hope you have an amazing week full of so many blessings and love. And as always, subscribe, comment, ask any questions that you have, and I will talk to you all next time. Bye.